Hey, hello everyone and welcome back to another stream. This time I am starting with some Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 and I will be trying to improve some of the trainings that I did before while playing on a controller on Xbox. I got a few Bs in some basic training and I will be trying to improve those to an A now that I can use honeycomb, yoke and throttle. Hopefully with the trim and everything else it will be a much easier task now. Right, and then I think if we get quickly A's on trainings, we can take a look at some of the landing challenges, but for now let's start with something pleasant and is a bit easier, hopefully, than the landing challenges that are still challenging to me. So let's start with some training courses. Okay. Oh, the mouse is here. Also, if you've never tried this, like Honeycomb Bravo also is a great mousepad as long as you don't scratch it too much. So do it at your own risk, but yeah. let me start the. Okay. Cool. Let's transition to the proper camera. And let me also switch the video mode. Okay, so we have our Flight Sim 2020. Everything seems to be connected. Oh, actually, let me lower a bit the gain on the microphone as I see that it's way too loud. So I think now should be a bit better. Oh, okay, I think now it's a bit better. So yeah, welcome again, and you join me for some training exercises in Microsoft Flight Sim. So first of all, let's change the profile. I believe that the trainings are being done in a single engine Cessna. So let's change the quadrant. Oh, I actually didn't connect the USB cables, so be right back. Small technical break. I need to connect the cables for the quadrant and yoke. And we are back. Small technical break. Right, so now that the yoke and throttle is connected, I need to change the profile of the throttle, especially to a basic single engine. And let's use the proper throttle setup. So in this case I will be using the general aviation set from Honeycomb, and this will be a throttle, a propeller and a mixture, I believe, but we can verify it once I set it up. So let me do this quickly. So throttle, come on, sometimes it's tricky to insert those. Okay, we've got throttle, we've got propeller, and we've got mixture. I believe this is the configuration for basic single engine, but I'm not sure if we need to use the propeller, so let me actually search it. Okay, so we've got throttle, which is fine. And now let's see the second assignment, whether it's propeller or mixture. Okay, mixture, so I made a mistake. So the propeller is a complex single engine, but for a basic single engine, we simply need the propeller. We don't need the propeller, we just need the mixture. And let me use the cover for the unused now throttle. Okay, so it's a simple engine indeed. So we've got our throttle and we've got our mixture, and that's it. So we are ready. So let's go back to the flight training, and as you can see, some are aced or 100%, but some are not. Like the takeoff and landing seems super basic, but as you can see, I have some Bs and I have a C in taxiing. So I think taxiing is important, but in a flight seems a bit boring. So maybe we can start with this, with taxi. Okay, let's try to ace this whole section. So let's go with the first one as well. Okay. Okay, so we've got our parking brake engaged, mixture, throttle. Right. Okay. Okay, let's start this.
Let's take a moment to talk about taxiing. Taxiing refers to moving the aircraft on the ground under its own power.
Okay.
In particular, getting from the ramp out to the hold short point on the edge of the runway.
Okay.
Steering on the ground is managed through the rudder pedals. That's right, unlike driving a car, we turn by using our feet. Okay, ready? With the throttle idle, release your parking brake.
Okay, with the throttle idle, which it is, release the parking brake. So let's release the parking brake.
Okay. Now, gently increase throttle to get the aircraft moving.
Sorry, one thing. I think I might have a wrong configuration on my alpha yoke. Let's see whether it works now. Yeah, I think it should work now. Okay. I had the wrong configuration on the yoke as well. Okay. Cool. So let's increase the throttle a bit.
Go easy on your throttle. Use your rudder pedal to turn left and enter the taxiway. As you increase power, watch the tachometer and make sure to stay around 1000 RPM.
Okay, 1000 RPM. We are a bit above 1000 RPM. But, okay. Okay, we are kind of around 1000 RPM. Test the brakes. So, okay. Brakes engaged.
Good. Brakes checked.
Check.
Taxi to the next exit, then come
Brakes
to a
released.
stop. Remember to control your speed with throttle and brakes. See the crossing in front of us? Stop before it as if traffic was coming off the runway.
Okay. We are way over 1000 RPM, so let me lower the throttle. And now we are around 1000 RPM, so this is good. And we need to stop imagining that there is traffic, incoming traffic. Okay, almost. Throttle idle and brakes. Yay, perfect.
Alright, taxi to holding point Alpha 1 next. It's at the far end of the airport near the head of runway 21. Stay as close as possible to the taxiway center marked by the yellow line, and watch your speed.
Okay. Okay, so we need to hold at the end of the runway. it's so much easier to do with a throttle. Like, I remember doing this training on Xbox with a controller, and it's a pain in the ass just to accelerate, decelerate, or basically increase, decrease throttle. Yeah, it's really more difficult than with a proper like throttle. Oh, sorry, a proper throttle knob, well, proper throttle. Okay, I think I need more power because I am almost stopped. So let's continue moving, please. But other than this, it's taxi, so it's not super exciting, but yeah, not enough power. And we are moving again. Okay, we are continuing to taxi, and we need to hold short before the runway, before entering the runway. So hopefully it's going okay. I stopped
After
a
the
few.
right turn, come to a stop before the hold short point and prep for takeoff.
Yeah, Roger. So okay, let's start slowing down. A bit of brakes. Turning, turning, turning. Right, more brakes. And stop. Okay.
You mastered that lesson. The next challenge will be to keep the aircraft under control while at full throttle for takeoff.
Hey, we did it. Okay. So yeah, definitely an improvement. Not the perfect score because I a few times I stopped when the aircraft should continue to move, but overall we improved from a C to an A, which is a good start. So now we have two more challenges, or training, sorry, two more trainings that needs to be improved. One is downwind, and the second is the whole first solo flight. So I remember from playing on a controller that those were challenging just because I had some issue with the trim and keeping accelerating. So the issue often here was that I set too aggressive of a trim, and then the speed decreased and my score suffered because of it. So let's try this one and see whether using the yoke and throttle actually helps here. So what's the plan? We are starting here. We need to do two 90 degrees turns, extend full flaps and land. And the speed is 80 knots, 65. All right. Yeah, let's see what happens. I'm not sure that I'm gonna get this one 100% or aced. Aced at the beginning, but I'm curious to see what happens.
Okay, we're currently flying on the downwind leg at
Okay.
the standard traffic pattern altitude of
Let's increase the
6,000
trim,
feet.
or maybe
It's
not.
a flight path parallel to the landing runway, but in the opposite direction. In downwind, you want to start preparing for landing. That means setting your speed and flaps configuration. Reduce speed to 80 knots.
80
Maintain
knots.
constant altitude and heading.
Altitude and heading. So I need more
The
trim.
flaps provide extra lift at the expense of additional drag. This extra lift allows flying at a lower airspeed.
Okay, 80 knots
The
with.
flaps allow for smoother and shorter landings. Go ahead and extend 10 degrees of flaps, all while maintaining current altitude.
Okay, flaps 10 degrees. Oops, sorry. Full throttle.
We're gonna fly past the end of the runway here.
Yep,
Keep going.
too much trim,
You
too much
see it
trim,
at a
too much trim.
45-degree angle behind you. That's your cue to turn left onto the base leg.
Wow, it's not going great. Okay, I've got way too much trim with the flaps, now too much power. Not enough power. Wait, still too much trim. Wow, it's getting chaotic quickly. Okay, too much power. And we need to be at 6,000 feet. Okay, hold the altitude.
Turn left onto the base leg.
Yeah, screw it. I want to repeat it. I'm not happy with it at all. So, okay. We need less trim. We need more power at the beginning, especially once we extend flaps 10. Okay, less trim, less
Okay,
trim.
we're currently flying on the downwind leg at the standard traffic pattern altitude of 6,000 feet.
Okay.
It's a flight path parallel to the landing runway, but in the opposite direction. In downwind, you want to start preparing for landing.
Okay.
That means setting your speed and flaps configuration. Reduce speed to 80 knots. Maintain constant altitude and heading.
Okay.
The flaps provide extra lift at the expense of additional drag. This extra lift allows flying at a lower airspeed. Flaps allow for smoother and shorter landings.
Okay.
Go ahead and extend 10 degrees of flaps,
Okay,
all
10
while
degrees
maintaining
flaps.
current altitude.
Oops, we're going below 6,000.
We're gonna fly past the end of the runway here. Keep going until you see it at a 45-degree angle behind you. That's your cue to turn left.
Damn, it's really
onto the base
difficult.
leg.
Okay, 80 knots around. We are still below, above 6,000.
Turn left onto the base leg.
I don't like it, but okay, let's continue manually. Trim is at 0, let's continue.
Try to maintain 1,400 RPM. That'll also
Okay.
keep our speed around 65 knots. Keep an eye on the runway as we get ready for our final turn.
Okay, 14,000 RPM. Okay.
Turn left onto final.
Yeah, it's not going great. Like, I screwed
Make your
up
left turn onto final.
each of those, but let's at least land and see what happens when it comes to the scores.
Keep a stabilized approach and prepare for landing.
I didn't like the steps, so maintain 65 knots. Okay, so I need more flaps to maintain 65 knots. Okay, more flaps. Yeah, it went really bad when it comes to following the instructions. So and we've
Apply the
bounced.
brakes and
Oh no,
stop
okay.
the plane.
We didn't really bounce, but it was a shitty landing as well. Wow, okay, it was more difficult than I anticipated, even with the throttle and the yoke. I definitely struggled to maintain the speed and the altitude.
You followed the traffic pattern well. Good job.
Okay, I mean, B is fair. And we are not that far away from an A, but I'm really not happy with the tasks of holding altitude and speed, airspeed. So let's try to work on that. Okay, let's try it one more time.
Okay, we're currently flying on the downwind leg at the standard traffic pattern altitude of 6,000 feet. It's a flight path parallel to the landing runway, but in the opposite direction. In downwind, you want to start preparing for landing. That means setting your speed and flaps configuration. Reduce speed to 80 knots. Maintain constant altitude and heading.
80 knots.
The flaps provide extra lift at the expense of additional drag. This extra lift allows flying at a lower airspeed. Flaps allow for smoother and shorter landings. Go ahead and extend 10 degrees of flaps, all while maintaining current altitude. We're going to fly past the end of the runway here. Keep going until you see it at a 45-degree angle behind you.
Oh,
That's your cue to turn left onto the base leg.
okay, I feel like it's going a bit better, maintaining 6,000 feet and 80 knots. But I'm struggling here, but it's going a bit better. And yeah,
Turn left onto the base leg.
it didn't go great at the end, but it was better than the previous attempt, so let's continue. Okay.
Try to maintain 1400 RPM. That'll also keep our speed around 65 knots. Keep an eye on the runway as we get ready for our final turn.
Okay.
Turn left onto final.
It went a bit better as well. I mean, the airspeed is too low, so I'm increasing now the throttle, but
Make your
at
left
least
turn
following
onto final.
the selection, the heading and the airspeed went a bit better than the previous time. So
Keep a stabilized approach and prepare for landing.
yeah, let's prepare for landing. Okay, more flaps. Not enough airspeed. Aye, almost 65 knots. Okay, that's it. We're landing this bad boy of a Cessna. Okay.
Apply the brakes and stop the plane.
Okay, I feel like it went much better than the previous attempt. Is it an A? I'm not sure. Hopefully.
That was a perfect traffic pattern execution. Well done.
Alright. I think we got an A. Yeah, okay. It went much better when it comes to maintaining heading and altitude and airspeed. It didn't go that much better because I barely passed an A score, but wow, I got really bad score for the last final approach, last step. Okay, so keeping the 65 knots. Wow, okay. Wow, I really screwed up here. But hey, it's an A, so I will take it. Which means we have only one flight training left in this section to improve, and this is the first solo flight. So probably a bit longer of a flight. Right, but let's try this one anyway, and we can always repeat it. Okay, so the flight plan is to take off, climb out, and this is the section that's really problematic for me. So after takeoff, you need to maintain a steady climb, but also an airspeed. And usually, somehow when I maintain the climb rate, or the climb rate, I screw up the airspeed. So this is going to be interesting to see how can I improve this part. Maybe I will reset if I screw this up at the beginning. Then we've got some more flying, holding altitude and airspeed, which is not that easy as you just saw. And then it's landing final. Cool, let's try this. I think an A here is definitely possible. But I am a bit worried about the climb rate and airspeed. Maybe I need to reduce the flaps or maintain them. Let's learn. This is a learning school, so...
It's time. Your first solo flight. I'll be watching from the ground in radio contact if you need me.
Okay.
But something tells me you won't. Your goal is to complete Sedona's left-hand traffic
Hey,
pattern
she's
on
sitting
your own.
here. She's lying.
Remember what
She's
we
not
covered
watching
in our
from the
previous
ground.
sessions, and you'll be just fine.
I'm not alone. Anyway,
Good luck. See you on the other side.
thank you. Parking brake released. Brakes applied. Throttle. Everything looks fine. Release brakes. And full throttle. Let's use a bit of our trim. Full throttle. And wow, it's a strong wind. Okay, reach 5,700 feet. And this is the part that gets tricky for me. So I need to way reduce the trim because I am not keeping 75 knots. So let's damn it, I am around 70 knots. Still climbing. Now 75 knots. More trim. Too much. Okay. You see, this is the problem that I was telling you about earlier. Like, now we are not climbing and... Okay, 75 knots. And again, we're losing the airspeed. Like, it's super tricky to me. Maybe even more gentle controls, like kind of similar climb pattern, right? Like now. Okay, maybe too much trim. Yeah, I think it's too much trim. I don't think it went pretty well, but maybe let's carry on and later on I can regroup and think what happened. Let me leave the trim at 7%. Okay, so we need to reach 6,000 feet, and I think it's too aggressive of a trim. Okay, again, we didn't reach 6,000 feet. I got a feeling it's not going great. I'm definitely struggling with the airspeed and the trim, or reaching an altitude. Okay, 80 knots. Okay, 80 knots, 6,000. Ah, you see, I'm losing. Wait, damn it, I'm already above 6,000 feet. Okay, abort. So I need to reduce the trim. Okay. Right. Right. Okay. Okay, 80. And we are still above 6,000 feet, so let's go down. Oh. Reduce the throttle. Go a bit down. Reduce more. Ah. Okay, 6,000 feet. Oh. Oh. Okay. Oh. More throttle. Damn, so tricky. Okay. Okay, 6,000 feet. And reduce the trim. Oh, okay, 80 knots, a bit more power. Holding altitude, it's looking good. And extend flaps 10 degrees, and this is gonna mess up everything, you will see. Okay. Damn it. Okay, 6,000 feet. It's not 80 knots. Okay, it is 80 knots. Reduce power. A bit more power. Okay. Wow, it's super challenging, but okay. let's land this plane and see what happens. I think this part is going to be the same like from the previous step, so probably just reducing the RPMs, maybe. Let's see. Yeah. Reduce the power and now maintain 65 knots. So we need more flaps to maintain 65 knots. And left turn for the final approach. More throttle. Less throttle. We need to be around 65 knots. So I can actually operate this manually. Okay. So we want to be around 65 knots. Okay. Okay. We are maintaining 65 knots, but I don't like the approach. Okay, that's it. Let's just land full flaps. I don't think it's an A, but still a successful solo flight. And we can always repeat the training. Okay. Um, it's a bit difficult. I was struggling definitely with the trim, airspeed and altitude.
You
But
did well, but you can do better. You're on
yeah.
your way to becoming one hell of a pilot.
Yeah. Okay, okay. So the worst was the first part. So after takeoff, like keep 75 knots and gain altitude. So let's try this again. I don't think I will be using the trim. Probably I will try to do this manually, which is a kind of bad idea overall, but it actually might work in this situation. So let's try this. So after takeoff, I don't really increase the trim.
It's time. Your first solo flight.
So trim at 0.
I'll
Okay,
be watching
flaps
from the ground in radio contact if you need me. But
10.
something tells me you won't. Your
And
goal is to
parking
complete the
brake
notice
release,
left-hand
parking
traffic pattern
brakes
on your
on,
own.
full throttle, and let's
Remember
go.
what we covered in our previous sessions, and you'll be just fine.
Okay,
Good luck. See you
brakes
on the other
released.
side.
And let's try to keep it manual. Okay, let's gain some more speed. Okay, 40 knots. And 60. And take off. Okay. I'm just manually looking at the airspeed and adjusting the kind of trim accordingly with the yoke. So whenever this airspeed starts dropping down, I release the yoke and then I continue to increase the yoke. I'm not sure if I should be at 10% flaps, 10 degrees flaps, but yeah, let's try this. So at least the airspeed is working and we are at 50,000 feet, sorry, 5,000 feet, which is not that far off from 57. And let's do flap 0. Yeah. I don't think we'll be able to make it. We are at 54,000 feet, 100 feet. Yeah. Okay. It was a shitty example again, but let's climb to 6,000 feet and let's try to again juggle the airspeed and altitude manually. I'm still climbing to 6,000 feet. Okay, I need to have more airspeed. I am at full throttle. Let's at least climb to 6,000 feet. And not stall. Okay. Okay, so at least we've reached 6,000 feet. And now we need to maintain the 6,000 feet and also the airspeed. And we can already do 10% flaps, 10 degrees flaps, because that's the next step. So 6,000 feet, 80 knots, let's hold it manually. Okay, 70 knots, 6,000 feet, holding. 80 knots, okay, let's pull back the power. Ah, too soon. Okay, 80 knots. Okay. Power kind of holding. Altitude. Ah, airspeed is down again. That's really tricky. Okay, holding altitude, holding power. Okay. $80 knots, 6,000 feet, okay. Okay, flaps extended, okay. Okay, 80 knots, 6,000 feet, I think it's going okay. Okay, again we're not at 80 knots. Okay, 80 knots again. 6,000 feet, 80 knots, more power. Less power. Okay. Okay, it went pretty well, so now let's turn left. Base leg. Let's reduce our RPMs. And hold 65 knots, using again the yoke. So 65, and now let's just release a bit and also increase the yoke, just so we are holding 65 degrees knots, sorry. And now let's turn left. And remember, oh, sorry, Cessna, sorry. 65 degrees, 65 knots again. Okay, 65 knots. Oh, went and came and went. Okay, 65 knots. More flaps. Okay, more power. Okay. Okay, maintain 65 knots, which we are doing. Okay, it went pretty well, so now let's just land full flaps and let's actually touch down gracefully, because we are kind of overspeeding. So So, okay. Oh, to flare. Too soon of a flare. Okay. It was kind of smooth, so was it enough for an A score? Despite the issues at the beginning with climb and airspeed? Yeah, fingers crossed.
You did well, but you can do better.
Damn it,
You're on
this
your
means
way
it's
to
a B.
becoming one hell of a pilot.
I bet it was close to an A. Yeah, you see, the first part sucks. I need to improve this. There is no point in doing the second and third if I screw up the first. Okay, so let's just abort the mission if the first part doesn't work out in green. Okay,
It's time. Your first
okay,
solo
full throttle
flight.
without parking
I'll be
brake or
watching from the
brakes.
ground in radio contact
Let's
if
do
you
this.
need me. But something tells me you won't. Your goal is to complete Sedona's
Okay,
left-hand
flaps
traffic
1,
pattern on your own.
10 degrees.
Remember what we covered in our previous sessions, and you'll be just fine.
We need a lot of drag to climb.
Good luck. See you on the other side.
And 75 knots. Let's start climbing at 75 knots to maintain it more easily. Or actually we can do probably 80 and then just lose a few knots. Okay, taking off. Okay. Okay, holding around 75 knots. Still climbing. I'm not using the trim, doing it manually with the yoke. Will I be able to climb 5,700 feet? I'm not sure. But let's try. Okay, the airspeed is dropping. Yeah, see, it sucks. At the end, I fail both to reach 57,000 as well as the speed. So maybe I will try something different. Maybe I will just overspeed at the takeoff and try to cheese the game or hack or whatever, hack it. So
It's
no
time.
flaps,
Your first
full
solo
throttle,
flight. I'll be watching from the ground in radio
and let's
contact
try
if you need me.
to
But something
gain
tells me you
altitude
won't.
very aggressively,
Your goal
like a
is to
jet
complete
fighter,
Sedona's left-hand
and
traffic pattern on your own.
then
Remember
just
what we covered in our previous
gain the
sessions?
altitude,
You'll be just
6,500, gain the required
fine.
airspeed,
See
and
you on the other side.
have both of the checkboxes in green. Maybe this will work. I need more speed, continue. Not taking off yet. More speed, please, Cessna. Even more speed. Okay, end of the runway, we need to take off. Okay, let's do this. So kind of an aggressive climb now, but I want to gain quickly 60 something, oh sorry, 5,700 knots. Yeah, 5,700 feet, and then I can gain more speed. So very aggressive climb, but I just want to try something else. So I need to reach 57,000 feet and then a bit of airspeed. Yeah, and it's not looking great. It's too aggressive of a climb, but yeah, I guess it was something else to try. Maybe I will be able to reach the 5,700 feet mark, but I don't think I will be able to reach the required airspeed. But let's see, I still have some way to go to the end of this checkpoint. So let's reach 5,700 feet, let's level off at those 5,700 feet, and then let's try to accelerate. Okay, 57, almost 100 feet. And okay. Let's try to accelerate, please accelerate, 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 accelerate. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't make it, so I reached the altitude, but not the airspeed, so maybe it's okay, maybe it's not okay, I don't know. I know that now I need to reach 6,000 feet, so let's do this first, and then I need to maintain 75 knots. So I am almost at 6,000 feet. Let's level off at 6,000 feet. Okay, don't worry. Okay, 6,000 feet. Okay, and now accelerate. Okay, flaps 10, 6,000 feet and 80 knots. Okay. Okay. Okay, 80 knots, 6,000 feet around. Okay, more or less. More power. Okay, 80 knots. Okay, 80 knots, 6,000 feet. More power. Oh, too much power. Okay. More power. Okay, I don't think this part is the problem, like I think here is more or less okay. Okay. It's not perfect, but it's not too bad. Like the climb portion, which is like just a shit show. Actually, this part is more or less stable. So 80 knots, 6,000 feet, holding. Okay, turn left. And now I need to be around 65 knots. So let's reduce the throttle, and let's hold 65 just by using the yoke. Okay, it's looking pretty good as well. And now let's turn left again and maintain 65. I don't think I'm being forced to extend flaps, so I can just hold 65 for now. Yeah, so let's hold 65 knots. Yeah, 65. Okay. It's looking okay. Okay, 65 knots. Oh, it was too much speed. Okay, anyway. Here we are at the end of the runway. Let's land and let's see if it's possibly an A. I don't know, like the climb portion worries me. Oops. Okay, kind of okay landing, quite smooth at low speeds. But that climb portion, I'm not sure if it's gonna be enough for an A, all the rest combined.
You did well, but you can do better.
God
You're on
damn
your way
it.
to becoming one hell of a pilot.
It's the climb section, for sure. Like, that's the issue. Wow, it was not. Okay, so if I kind of maybe hack the takeoff and then do okay in the crosswind. Let's try just the climb portion again. I feel like there's something that I'm missing here. Like, it should be possible to do this for sure. Maybe I need to use 10 degrees flaps and full throttle and just continue. Okay, let's try the climb portion again. So parking
It's
brake
time,
release,
your first solo
full
flight.
throttle,
I'll be watching from the ground in radio contact if you need me.
brakes,
But something tells me
engine
you won't.
is
Your goal
all
is to complete Sedona's left-hand traffic
spinned up
pattern on your
and
own.
release.
Remember what we covered
Flaps.
in our previous sessions, and you'll be just fine.
And let's go.
Good luck. See you on the other side.
Let's actually hit 75 knots and try to just keep this airspeed while climbing. $60. 75, let's go. Okay, I'm holding 75 knots while climbing. The engine is so weak on the Cessna. I know these are excuses, but like I'm full throttle and it's not working great. But I guess we are climbing, so but again, it's not gonna be enough for 5,700 feet. I'm just keeping an eye on the airspeed while trying to climb at the same time, but we are almost at the end of the upwind leg and it's not looking great. Yeah, I just tried more flaps and it was completely stupid, so don't do this. And I stole the plane. Yeah, screw this. Okay, so I am not wiser than I've been 1 hour ago. I still don't know how to do the climb portion efficiently.
It's time. Your first solo flight. I'll be watching
Okay,
from the ground.
flaps
Radio
10.
contact if you need me. But something tells me you won't. Your goal is to complete Sedona's left-hand traffic pattern on your own. Remember what we covered in our previous sessions, and you'll be just fine.
We have a lot of drag thanks to the 10%, 10 degrees flaps. Yeah, I'm just not sure what more can we do. Okay. Yeah, now even the speed is not as it should be. I mean, the vertical speed is okay. We are still climbing, but that's just not enough. Yeah, it's definitely not enough. Okay, let's continue turning. Okay, let's speed up to 75 knots first. It's just going bad, it's going really bad, but okay. Okay, 6,000 feet, let's hold it with the 80 knots and see what happens. Okay, let's make sure the vertical speed is around 0. And now I can pull back the power a bit, around 80. More power. A bit more power. Okay. Okay, less power. More power. Less power. Okay, 80 knots. 6,000 feet, more or less. Power. Okay, flaps 10 degrees. Okay. Let's continue. $80 knots, vertical speed around 0, 6,000 feet. Looking good, but again, that climb portion was a shit show. It's gonna be a B, like I can feel it in my bones, it's gonna be a B. There's no way I'm getting an A in this training session with this shitty climb. I need to improve it somehow. Okay, turn left. Yeah, reduce power and maintain 65 knots. Cool. Okay, 65 knots. Power reduced. Let's continue. Power idle, basically. It's not really reduced. Power is now idle. Okay, let's turn left again. 65 knots. Okay, 65 knots. Oops, too much airspeed. Okay, let's maintain 65. Okay, let's just land. It was terrible landing, like fucking awful, but let's just land. Okay.
did well, but you can do better.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
You're on your
I
way
mean,
to becoming one hell of a pilot.
it doesn't make sense to continue the climb. I mean, it doesn't make sense to continue the training once I fucked the climb portion. So I'm gonna take a break here. I'm just gonna try one more climb to see. Yeah, I've got no amount of ideas how to climb to 6,000 feet, maintaining 75 knots. Like, my throttle is full power. I don't get it. I am using flaps to get more drag. Maybe no flaps. Yeah, let's go full power.
Your first solo flight. I'll be watching from the
Let's see if it
ground and
works.
radio
But
contact if you need me.
I will
But
probably
something
just
tells me you won't.
cancel the challenge
Your
or
goal
the
is to
training,
complete Sedona's left-hand traffic
and
pattern
I
on
will
your
take a
own.
break and come back to this
Remember
later.
what we covered in our previous sessions, and you'll be just
It's a
fine.
tough challenge or training,
See you on the
sorry.
other side.
I keep using the word challenge. It's a training, but it's a tough one, at least for me. I'm not sure if maybe me using the flaps, it was a mistake before, but I think I had more drag thanks to those, so maybe I was too slow, I don't know. Or I'm not even sure if there was any kind of difference. Like, I don't feel like now I'm faster or slower. I feel like it's the same rate of climb. Looking at the airspeed and the vertical speed, it looks like it's the same bullshit. Okay, so I'm maintaining 75 knots, but the vertical speed, I don't know. Yeah, I think it's not promising. I don't feel like I'm gonna reach 5,700 feet in the remaining distance. It's gonna be close one. You see, it's 5,500, but not 57. And my airspeed is down, I need to stop. Okay, but it was closer than before, so it was fucking 56. So, okay, maybe I just don't use the flaps while I do this. But still, it's so tough. I will try this later on, and yeah. Maybe some other trainings, like this is the last one from the basics, but later on I've got some other, oh yeah, there are some other trainings that I didn't get an A on. Right, so I can definitely try some more of those trainings. And there is a new section, IFR navigation, which I can definitely try as well. Cool. Okay, for now that's it. I hope you enjoyed the taxi challenge that I was able to ace, and all my attempts at the solo pilot flight that I screwed up. Anyway, make sure to catch the next episode or the next stream today later on, where I'll be trying the solo flight again, and hopefully when I get an A on this one, moving to some other flight challenges. Damn it, I keep using the word challenges, flight trainings that you just saw now. And yeah, for now, thank you for